I'm really proud of the way this team played and competed, and we had to against a really good Purdue team, and certainly, we got to do a better job of taking care of the football. Those are big. That and the block punt, those are huge plays, which leads me to, I thought our defense was sensational. The way that they were put in some really tough situations, and I love their energy, and most of all, thought they executed and played really good team defense, and certainly, as much as those turnovers hurt, that was a huge takeaway by Leon, and proud of the way the guys just kept playing, and also, great response by the offense, to finish that game with the ball in their hands, and some guys came up big. KP gets his first catch on a third down, and Grosh had a couple nice runs, and it, we're going to need everyone, and going to continue to do that. But I'm really proud of the way the guys kept fighting and playing, and certainly areas that we've got to clean up and we've got to get better. So we need room for growth, room to take a step forward, but appreciate their effort and well fought, earned victory.
Tom, Paul, you talked about the problems that you've had that seem to be a little recurring, turnovers, penalties, things like that just seem to be holding you back from a really big performance.
They do.
What do you think's going on here? I mean, it's 6 games in.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, JT did not want to put the ball on the ground and going there, and so we've got to do that. On the screen, if it's not there, you got to find a way to not try to force it in there. I thought that was big, and you're right. That's been the one thing that we've got to do a better job of valuing it. We've got to coach it better and make sure the kids understand it and go, because it's a great example of how you can make it really hard on yourself.
Jeff, Paul, you mentioned team victory. On the pick by Leon, it looked like there was, first of all, some pressure and maybe also nobody open for the guy to throw to. I'm guessing Leon wasn't the only one who was contributing on that play.
No doubt, and I thought our front did a heck of a job, and then you add in duels and Leon on the edge. I know he put in some pressure, and I'm anxious to see how Gink played, but it was typically that's what happens because he's getting flushed, and that was a big play.
Jason. What was the thought process behind playing Garrett Groshek on that last drive after he hadn't been in the game before that?
Well, you just getting to the point where you want to have some guys that are fresh, and been working on a little bit of the package with them, and thought that'd be a good time to use them. And he's been going all year on our third down, so he was in on the third down conversion to KP, and so a guy that's earned the right to play and needed him in those situations.
It's the 6th game of the season, and your defense just managed to keep a team from scoring a touchdown throughout 4 pretty intense periods of play. How far do you think this defense has come, and what do you think it is about this defense that kind of allows that solid momentum to build throughout a game?
Well, I think they're a group that's, we got good players, and I think their defensive staff is doing a heck of a job, and that combination is really good. It gives you a chance, but I think that they're embracing the moments they're in. And today we put them in. I thought we put them into some tough spots, but they rose up, and I think we got some good leadership, in that group, and guys that have played in games, and so we're certainly going to need to continue to have them do that, and I think we've got to find a way to complement them a little bit better offensively and special teams.
Jeff, Paul, after the fumble by Taylor, next time you guys had the ball, Shaw was in. I don't know, sometimes position coaches will give a guy a break if he fumbles it. Was that what you guys were doing, or just wanted to go to Shaw because Taylor needed a breather?
It's a little bit of both. You want to make sure. I mean, that one truly, that bothered JT big time, and you want to make sure he's got a chance to just breathe for a second. It's, like I said, there's not one kid that's going out there, and this is what I'm going to try to do, and put it on the ground, and we talked real quick, and you're going to come in, and we're going to need you some more, and so I think it's a chance to just kind of breathe for a second and come back, and knew that we would need him.
Teams that haven't been able to close the deal in the last couple weeks. Is there something to be said for winning ugly? Is there a point of pride that this team can still win even if it doesn't play its best?
Yeah, and absolutely, it's how do you find a way to score one more point than the opponent, and games play out in all different fashions, and never once do we think it's going to be perfect, but you want guys to go out and play, enjoy playing, and when you're in those tough moments, embrace them, and I think guys are doing that, and certainly that we're trying to, I think the players want to, and we as coaches want to coach to perfection. They want to play to it, knowing that you'll never attain it, and I think that in some ways those become really good wins because you know that you're not doing everything. You know we made it harder on ourselves, but you guys found a way, and that, again, I think you go back and you appreciate the players and them just continuing to play.
Ben?
Paul, what did you see on T.J. Edwards' tackle, and what explanation did you get from the officiating crew?
Well, I had a quick, discussion with the official that was on our side, and I think I thought it, from my vantage point, it looked like a good football play, and yet I understand why he threw the flag, and everyone that plays this, everyone that's coaching wants it as safe as we can, and yet I think that those are really hard moments. I don't think that it's always the receiver. He stays. He doesn't stay on the same plane. He's going to go and I thought TJ. I know he had his head up and went and I understand why they call it. I did not see any type of review on it, so I don't know. But I think that's part of the game now.
Jason?
Paul, you had Danny Davis returning kickoffs today. How do you feel like he did in that area? Do you feel like you're going to stick with him moving forward? And I guess as a second part, how do you know the severity of the injury he suffered?
Yeah, I don't know on the severity of the injury. Obviously, that determines the first part of the question. I think we just had, I don't know if we just had the one return or a couple. I think it was one return. So I thought he was fine on it.
Jeff?
Paul, do you have an idea, or did you see what happened on the punt block? I mean, he basically took the ball right off.
Yeah, he did. It was, I think they caught us, and we were trying to release one more, and they did a nice job of shifting to it. And I don't know, Jeff, and obviously we'll take a good look at it, but it was, they were on us fast.
Jason had to go in at left guard in the second half again today. Was it just a re-aggravation for John, and did you think you might need to give him a week off to make sure this doesn't keep happening?
We'll see how Dietz is feeling with this, and early in the week he didn't practice a lot, and then was able to come back, had some good practice, and thought that if we could get him a good half, that'd be pretty good for us. And I think it would also help Jason in on it. So I don't know going forward. Certainly Jason's getting some good experience, and it'll be interesting to see how he played. I couldn't tell you right now, but we'll just kind of see how Dietz is feeling, and then continue to develop and work everyone.
In the back?
Getting back to the Edwards tackle, what are your thoughts on the automatic ejection that comes with that rule?
Well, I think that we're all. It's really important, to try to make this game as safe as possible. And there's a lot of discussion that goes on in the off season, and I think that we made a step forward with being able to go back and review it, and so I think we'll continue to look at different ways that we can make this game as safe as possible, understanding that it is a physical game.
Jeff?
How do you explain when your offense doesn't do much for a very long period of time, and then with the game on the line is able to drive basically 8+ minutes, I think it was, off the clock, and make some key third down plays, including Cephas's on the sideline there?
Yeah, it's it's execution, right? The bottom line is offensively plays work when guys do their job, and the same could be said, defensively, when guys are doing, and then someone there has to win, and I think that we executed, and I let guys embrace the moment. I was proud of that. That's you don't know, right? You go out, you take that field, and they certainly weren't proud of what happened. I thought, we had some good drives, and then, the turnovers were big. As the pick was a miscommunication, between Alex and and Danny, and yet, that's a big play. And then the screen really wasn't there, and tried to shoehorn it in, and then that was a heck of a drive that we didn't finish on with JT's, and then certainly the punt block. So those are easily you look at and say we got to be better. We got to eliminate those. But there's a lot of good things throughout the game. Just you got to put it all together, and that's where it's never easy, and that's why you appreciate the guys keeping their poise and just continuing to work and play together, and it takes everyone to win.
When he transferred here, a lot of people projected Rashid Ibrahim to be like the 5th running back. How much does it say about his character that he's come in and through injuries to other players really been able to step up and contribute as a 5th-year senior?
No, Sheed's he's a really neat person, and fortunately we had a good idea of who he was, and also had a good idea of the room that we had currently, and it was going to be a good fit. And whatever that role is being asked of him, knew that Sheed would be a guy that would embrace it and give his very best. And I think he's done a nice job of coming into the team, and I think our team has done a nice job of bringing him into the team. And so it's as we continue to go on, it's going to take a ton of guys, and that's where it's fun when different players have their moments, their opportunities, and when they can give back to the team, that makes the individual feel pretty good.
Got time for one more, Lauren?
These cornerbacks, especially in this game, were very physical at the catch point, but they do a good job of also avoiding the penalty, not getting too physical. So what's the key to finding that balance there that they've been able to perfect so far?
Well, I think that it comes down to for every player, you want to be able to trust your athletic ability, and you want to be able to trust your technique, trust your training, and when you can do that, I think you can perform at your best. And there's not one player we have that'll perform perfectly, but I think those are guys that trust themselves, and they work to apply the training so that hopefully that then carries it over. Because in games, you're going to rely on those have to be your habits, and so those are the things when I talk about all the time how we got to work to keep getting better. There's some obvious, like the turnovers, and then there's the everyday, every moment where you've just got to continue to work the techniques needed so that come game day, you can go out and perform your best. And guys are doing that. They're working at it. We're not there yet, but you appreciate the work they do and go out and get to compete. So we've got a long ways to go. We can get better, but proud of what they did today. Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.